Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lad. And in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to use the destructors in C++ to deallocate the memory which is allocated for the class properties. So let's get started. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna build a class. So it's gonna be class, and let's say human, and then a pair of curly braces, and between these curly braces we're gonna write the body of this class. Alright, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna have two pointers, and let's write them in the private block. So it's gonna be private as the access specifier, then a colon, and let's have two pointers. So it's gonna be a string pointer, and let's call it as name, and another one is gonna be an integer pointer, and let's call it as age. Alright, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna build the constructors and the methods in the public block. So I'm gonna write the access specifier as public, then colon, and here first we're gonna build a constructor. So our constructor is gonna take two parameters, one integer value and one string value, and in this constructor we're gonna allocate the memory dynamically, and we're gonna store the values passed to our constructor in that allocated memory. So to define a constructor we need to write the class name and then a pair of parentheses, and between these parentheses we need to specify the parameters taken. So let's say in this case it's gonna be a string, and let's call it as iname, and then again another integer parameter, and let's call it as age. So here in this constructor body we're gonna allocate the memory dynamically, and we're gonna store that returned address in these pointers. So that's why first I'm gonna allocate the memory to store a string value. So it's gonna be name equal to new string, and then it's gonna be age equal to new int. That's because age is an integer type. Alright, now we have allocated the memory dynamically to store an integer and a string value. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna store the values passed to our constructor in that allocated memory. To do that I'm gonna write star, the evaluate operator, name equal to iname, and again star age equal to age. Alright, now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna build a method which is gonna print out the values pointed by these two pointers. So I'm gonna call that method as void display, and it's not gonna take any parameters. And here inside this method we're gonna say hi I am, and then stream insertion operator, and we're gonna refer to the value stored in the memory pointed by this pointer name, and that's why it's gonna be star name, and then again stream insertion operator, and let's insert some string, and I'm gonna write and I am, then we're gonna refer to the value stored in the memory pointed by the pointer age, and that's why it's gonna be age, and let's insert some string, and we're gonna say years old. Alright, now we're gonna end this line. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna build a destructor. So here in this constructor what we have done is we have allocated the memory dynamically. So all of us know that a destructor will be called when the object is gonna be destroyed. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deallocate the dynamically allocated memory using this new here. So we're gonna write a destructor. To define a destructor, first we need to use the tilde symbol, and then the name of the class which is human, and then no parameters in the parentheses, and then the destructor body. So here we're gonna use the delete keyword to deallocate the memory. So it's gonna be delete, and then the pointer is gonna be name, and again it's gonna be delete, and it's gonna be the pointer age. Alright, now we have a class definition where we have allocated the memory dynamically in the constructor, and we have deallocated that allocated memory in our destructor. In this destructor let's print some message. We're gonna say all memories are released. Alright, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an object of this class human in our main function. To do that, I'm gonna use the new keyword. So we need a pointer. It's gonna be human star, let's give a name Anil, equal to new, and then the class name, which is human. And since we have defined only one constructor, which is gonna take 2 parameters, we need to pass the values. So here I'm gonna pass the string value as Anil, and then we need to pass an integer value for age, and it's gonna be, let's say, 24. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna call the display method using this pointer Anil. So it's gonna be Anil, and then we're gonna use the arrow operator because we are accessing using a pointer, and then we need to call the display and add a semicolon. And I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna build and run this. Alright, now you guys can see, hi, I am Anil and I am 24 years old. And the main thing that we need to note is that the memory is not deallocated. That's because that object is still in the memory. So just for the demonstration purpose, here what we're gonna do is we're gonna deallocate the memory pointed by this pointer Anil. For that, I'm gonna use the delete keyword, and it's gonna be Anil. Okay, now I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna build and run this. Now you guys can see, hi, I am Anil and I am 24 years old, and all memories are released. So that message is from this destructor after deallocating all the memory which are allocated dynamically in the constructor. So we can say that a destructor is normally used to free all the resources which are used in your class. So thank you for watching guys, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.